Hello guys, I am your instructor for Spanish 2001 on eCore, and this video will go over some of the aspects of our D2L page, which is the platform through which you will complete the class's work. So when you log into D2L and access our course, this is what the course page will look like. This is the front page. And right here, under announcements, this is where I will communicate with the class as a whole. If I have to send a message to the entire class, I will do it through announcements, which will appear here on the home screen. As you see, our first announcement is the welcome message, where I discuss some just general pertinent information about the course and also outline what the first due dates are for the first introductory assignments, which are the mandatory attendance quiz and the introductory discussion and voice board. Now, it's very important that you do that mandatory attendance quiz by the deadline so that you are not marked absent from the course, which could get you potentially dropped from the course. So make sure you do that as fast as possible. And the quiz has no Spanish on it. You're just putting in information about yourself, contact information, so that if I have to get in contact with you about something via phone, I can. So the next important element, probably the most important element, is the syllabus. Of course, you've taken a college class before, you know that the syllabus is very important. It is your game plan for the semester. So here I have my information, my phone number, and my external email address, which is mary.barnard@ung.edu. But the eCore administration likes us to use D2L for email as much as possible to not confuse students with having them access outside platforms too much. They like everything to be self-contained in D2L to make it easier for the student, so that the student associates D2L with school. So if you can email me here by clicking on this email icon, and you can also read the emails there as well. But if you have to, you can always contact me at this external address. So, in general, we like to respond to our emails within 24 hours during the weekdays and within 48 hours during the weekend. Unless something happens that's unforeseen, I always try to meet those time limits because there's no other way you can really contact me. So, attendance verification, we went over that. The course description. Now, this course is what you would say would be the third course in a 4-semester Spanish sequence. It's the beginning of the intermediate levels of the language. However, don't let that scare you, because for the first half of the course, a lot of what we're going to do is review. And for many, the entire course will feel like review. But for many, maybe the last half of the course will feel really new to you. But that first half is a lot of basic Spanish review. And so if you haven't taken Spanish in many years, or you're not very strong at Spanish, use that first part of the course to review and to solidify some of those skills. Because Spanish is a really cumulative subject, meaning that what you learn in Chapter 1 will definitely show up in some form or fashion in Chapter 2, and so forth. It builds upon previous knowledge. So, however, with this course, I'm not expecting perfect fluency. If you want to learn Spanish out of a desire to become fluent, a lot of what you are going to have to do will be outside of the course. I know from my own personal experience, what you learn in core in your classes is just the starting point. But if you're not going out into the community and speaking to Spanish speakers and making every effort as much as possible to speak the language, you never will. Okay? So it takes constant practice. It's kind of like learning a musical instrument. If you don't practice, you'll never become good. Okay? So as far as the textbook, there is no textbook. We use open educational resources in this course. It's a mix of things cultivated from the internet, from other free texts, and also created activities by various instructors throughout the University System of Georgia. We will go over 5 chapters this semester. These first 2 chapters right here are going to feel like a big review. Perhaps when we start getting into the lesson 3 stuff, onward it will feel newer to you, but it really depends on what your previous 2 Spanish courses were like. Right, so of course, time commitment is very necessary because when you take an online course, you are an independent learner almost. You have to go at your own pace, but also meet deadlines. And you don't have the, I guess you say, the benefit of having an instructor you can just walk in and talk to in their office, and your classmates might be thousands of miles away. You don't know. So you really have to be an independent minded kind of person, or at least cultivate that in order to be successful. So it will require a lot of accountability on your part, but the truth is if you can just plug away and do the assignments and meet the deadlines, you're going to be A-okay. Late policy is here on the syllabus. You can read it right here. Here I have the main assignments with their grade breakdown and their descriptions. This is how your grade basically will be factored. Here I put some key due dates. Now, I say that all introductory assignments are due on this date, and all Lección 1 assignments are due on this date. What do I mean by all Lección assignments are due on that date? So right here, I put the double star index. So when I say all of the chapter's assignments are due, what I mean are these assignments for that chapter. The check-in board, the discussion boards, the voice boards, the homework assignments, the writing practice assignment, and the chapter quiz. So if it says all Lección 1 assignments are due, and these are the Lección 1 assignments, when I say like all Lección 4 assignments are due on this date, I mean all of these assignments, but for that 4th chapter. I will go over what the homework assignments look like shortly. So at the bottom of the syllabus are some helpful links that if you have to do some more administrative tasks for the course, like sign up for a proctored exam, make a complaint, grade appeal, withdraw, they are right here. You can click on them and access them. So it's nice to have them in one place. Okay, so that's the syllabus. You can read it more carefully on your own. If you have any questions, of course, you can email me. But now for the meat and potatoes of the course, we go to content. So I always recommend that when you start one of our online courses, okay, you start where it says start here. Many students will skip around, they won't start where it says start here, and they get lost, they get confused, and then a couple weeks later they want to withdraw from the course. So always just, be very diligent and methodical and just start where it says start here and click on these arrows and you can advance through the course. Here's the syllabus. We already went over that. Goes over attendance and requirements and academic honesty. You can read more about that. This is the attendance quiz. You can click on that and start it. Once you're done with that, you can post to the introductory discussion board. Now, with this discussion board, this is the rule of how your grade will be calculated for discussion boards. You need one original post, which is 50 points of your grade, and then you need to respond to 2 other students' posts, okay? Or even my post, because I post to them too. You can respond to my post for points. 2 other people's posts for 25 points each. So your original post will be 50 points. Your first reply will be 25 points, and your second reply will be another 25 points. All of that equals 100 points, which is full credit. So again, 1 original post and 2 replies. That's what you need to get full credit on these discussion boards. Okay, so you complete that, then you go to the voice board. Now, with these voice boards, you have to record yourself speaking Spanish and attach it to a thread. You start a new thread and you attach it. Okay, there are different ways you can do this. You can follow the instructions in this audio tutorial in order to do your recording and post it. Or, we all have smartphones nowadays that have some sort of voice recording software. You can record yourself speaking into your smartphone and save it as an MP3, email it to yourself, and then attach it to the thread. However, your brain thinks about it best. Okay, so with the voice board, you don't have to overdo it. Just follow the instructions, and if your voice board is at least a minute long, you'll be fine. Okay, so about a minute of material will do. Okay, so we just keep going through. Gives us some tips on navigating the course. We just keep going. Now we're on Lección 1. Okay, so here again, we just keep going through methodically, step by step. We complete the assignments as they arise. Now, once we get into the actual vocabulary and grammar, which is the actual material of the course, right, we will see different activities. So here, all of the chapters start off with a vocabulary list. Now, you don't have to sit down and memorize all of these words all at once. It's a good idea to, try, but you don't have to be perfect at them all at once, because there are various activities to help you internalize this material. So, for example, here are some flashcards. Hug in Spanish, if you click on it, is abrazo. Abrazo is hug. If you like to use flashcards, I'm of a different generation. I like to write things out. For me, they say if you include as many of your senses as you can in studying information, like sight, smell, hearing, taste, um, touch, if you can include as many as you can in learning material, that you're more likely to remember it. This is something they say, which some things would be hard to do, like taste and smell, but especially with Spanish. But if you know how, go ahead, knock yourself out. So, however remembering the material works for you, go for it. So here it says it's a quiz, but this is not the lección quiz. This right here, lección uno, vocabulary, listening, comprehension, is a type of activity called, I guess you'd say, a homework quiz. It's really to take the place of homework. Back in the day, we used to use this thing called SuperSite. It was a site with Spanish homework and quizzes and things, but every semester, or every year rather, the price goes up exorbitantly, and it was just causing too much of a financial burden. So we decided to make activities for the students to do. Now, you just click on it and you start the activity. Okay, I want to talk about the nature of these a bit more. So I'm going to go here. This is another way to access your quizzes. You go to this drop-down menu under Assessments. You can go to Quizzes. And I need to show you this. This is that activity right here. Okay, so you see these 5 quizzes. These are actual quizzes. In the grade book, these will count for your quiz grade. Okay? But these right here, are not quizzes in the sense that they fall under your quiz grade. They will fall under homework. Okay, the reason they're in this quiz category is because in D2L there was no other way to format it. So as you can see, these are your homework quizzes, your homework activities, and they're integrated into the modules. Okay, you saw that under content, but if you want to access them through assessments quizzes, you surely can. Okay, so these are your quizzes. You have 3 attempts at each one. All right, they're your homework quizzes, rather, your homework activities. You have 3 attempts at each one, and I give you until the absolute last day of classes of the semester to complete your 3 attempts. Okay, what does that mean? Does that mean, oh, I don't have to do any of my work till the last of the semester? No, this means that, let's say you do the assignment once or twice and you don't make a good grade, but you do it to prepare for the midterm. For example, chapters 1 and 2 are on the midterm, and you do these assignments to prepare for the midterm. But maybe you want to try it one more time, maybe after the midterm, to make a better grade. And you try it that 3rd time and you make 100. Well, guess what? That 100, which is the highest grade you made, will replace the other low grades. Basically, it'll take the highest of the 3 attempts that you make on these assignments. Okay? Now, some people will get, I guess, behind in the course, and they will skip some assignments or not do some, which I don't recommend, because these assignments are designed to help prepare you for the exams and the quizzes. So what I do put zeros. So let's say I say that all the Chapter 1 or Lección 1 assignments are due on September 13th. On September 14th, I start putting in zeros for the ones you didn't do. But those zeros are not, I guess you'd say, forever zeros. They won't always be there. Those zeros are more reminders that you need to do it, and you can change that. You can go in and do it and get the grade. Okay, so I give you until the last day of the semester, the last day of classes rather, but don't wait until then to do just a mass quantity of quizzes, of these homework quizzes. Okay? So at the end of this section, the midterm is not here. I'll have to check that. So back to content. As you see, we have the chapter sections 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. This is the vocab and grammar sections. We have a culture section with videos and readings. And then the assessments. These are basically the discussion boards, the writing practice, and the quiz. The self-test, you don't have to do the self-test. It's really just to help you study. But if you want to, go ahead, but the quiz is what's for the grade. The quiz and the voice boards and the writing practice in this section are what's for an actual grade. Now, if you have a question about any topic, you can put it here. Now, I've set this up to allow anonymous posts. So if you want to ask a question, but you don't want everybody to know it's you asking it, you can just put anonymous. Okay, so you can do that there. Now for assessments, we talked about quizzes. Now for the assignments. Your assignments right here are like folders where you will put essays and other files to meet the requirements of these activities. So assignment 1, writing practice for feedback, is really these writing assignments. You're just answering questions and even translating. You do this in a Word document. I prefer something that's, has the file extension .doc or .pdf, because D2L doesn't recognize pages for Mac. If you have a Mac, you can do it in rich text file or a .txt document. Those will open, but the .pages never opens in D2L. And I usually have to email the students to ask them to convert it to either .doc or .pdf. Okay, so the assignments. The writing assignments are very much like that one I showed you. The final project is due at the end of the semester. It is a narrated PowerPoint. You're going to talk about studying abroad in a country or a city. There's a rubric. Now, with the narrated PowerPoint, some have difficulty attaching the narration because nowadays we have these cloud-based services for like Office 365. Some people use Google Docs, and those systems don't always have an ability for you to attach a narration. Well, if you want to just, like I said, with your smartphone, record yourself narrating and then give me the MP3 or whatever audio file you've saved it as a separate attachment in the folder, that's fine too. Okay, so that's the final project. Those are the assignments. So now we're going to talk about the proctored exam. In this course, only the midterm is proctored. The final exam is not proctored, it is open book. So to sign up for that, you just click here and follow the steps. Now there are certain directions as to what you can take to the proctored exam, but we will go over that later. Okay, so under the Communications tab, you can access, for example, the discussions, which are those discussion boards. You can also access email, okay, instant messaging, okay, resources. The calendar is perhaps the most important for the students in this class because it shows you exactly what's going to be due when. So the 19th of this semester, of August, was the first day of the semester. And at the end of this week, right here on the 23rd, the introductory assignments are due and the mandatory attendance quiz is due because on this day right here, Tuesday the 27th, I have to turn in the attendance verification to eCore to report which students are actually attending the course. Okay. Again, September, we have 2 chapters worth of assignments due. The first chapter on the 13th, the second chapter on the 27th. And then, starting on October 4th up until the 10th, these days right here, 4th through the 10th, that's the week of the midterm. So it's going to come up on us pretty fast. So get started on those first 2 chapters worth of assignments so that you'll be prepared for this midterm. So library, we have access to the Galileo system, which is basically where you would access databases for resources for projects like the MLA database, JSTOR, EBSCOhost, and others. Okay, for design, you don't really need to know about this. I don't even play with it. So free tutoring. Now, this is something different. Back in the day, they used to have certain days and times in which Spanish tutoring was available. Now they have, I guess you'd say, a live system through this chat client that will hook you up with a tutor if a tutor is available, which I just tried it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and it was available. So to access it, it's Smart Thinking, called Smart Thinking. You click on that and another web page pops up. It checks your system, make sure you have the right software, and you can go right here to work with a tutor, and this subject list will pop up. So if you're taking other courses through eCore, you can avail yourself of the tutors in other subjects as well. But since we're talking about Spanish, you can do a drop-in session and you click here. You click here and a chat client pops up. Now I'm not going to do it because I already bothered the lady before. I don't want to bother her again. So I'll just show you a screenshot of what it looked like. So see, so this is a screenshot and I posed a question. I said, "Hi, I'm an instructor trying to find out how this tutoring system works so I can explain to my students." And this lady named Laura answered my question. So you can ask questions about Spanish. You can use this whiteboard. You can draw on it if you have that capability on your computer. You can upload documents. And you can also share your screen. So make sure everything's PG-13 on your computer screen before you share screens with the Smart Thinking tutoring people. But what's also interesting is that you can work on your oral skills. You can schedule an audio-video tutoring session. So let's say you really, really want to practice your oral skills. Well, to tell the truth, this course doesn't give you much of an option to do that. Okay? But if you really want to, you can do it through the Smarter thinking tutoring. So they can also help you with your Spanish essay, okay? Which our essays aren't that difficult to do, but if you need help, you can use smarter thinking. So, but what I would say is that this audio video tutoring session where you can actually practice speaking the language, this is a gold mine for you if you really want to become fluent. So that's just a screenshot. I typed this in, I submit question, I waited for someone to respond. It didn't take me very long. She answered my question. I thanked her, and then I click and I ended my session. So that's just a screenshot of what it looks like. So I'm going to get out of that. So that's the free tutoring. Now I'm going to go back to course home. So that's basically it for the class. Now, because I'm a faculty, it says faculty resources here, but even though I'm in student view, so I don't 100% know what the student side looks like, but those are the basic elements of the course. This is another way to get to your proctored exams. If you are having problem with eCore, I mean not eCore rather, but with the website, with the D2L, you can click here and they can help you figure out the technical side of things. So that's me right there in Peru. I used to live in Peru. So when I was doing my dissertation, so that's it. So I hope we have a great semester. Hasta luego.